Hello and happy Monday night. Live from Phoenix again. So I'm staying in this specific place for about a month. So, or I guess 3 more weeks. So I switched from my last place in Phoenix to this place in Phoenix. And here we are. All right, Shakti is here already. I'm so excited for tonight. Hey, Tanya.
Yo.
Hey.
I need too many things to be ready for these things. I have like water, tea, a computer. I have too many requirements to be on for this thing. Too many.
Girl,
can you just sit down? Nope.
When I'm in different times, like for you, for instance, right? You're on the East Coast, so like it's 9 p.m. and I was used to doing these after dinner. And now all of a sudden it's like, fuck, I have to eat by 5:30 so that I can be live by 6. Like all of a sudden, it feels so weird to be coming on like when it's still light out.
There goes my pole. I have my my tripod, and it's like you can see the tripod dropping. There it goes. Oh, why is it doing that? Don't do that thing. Tripod. Hold on, guys. We're having an existential moment. The tripod and I like how we're like, trigger possibility high. Everyone hops on.
I know, right? Like, ooh, I want to be triggered today. As if you guys haven't already been triggered by my shit today. Let's be honest.
Let's do more.
Yeah.
I know you can do better, guys. Whatever. All right, we're sharing this out, so hop on, say hi.
Let us know where you're watching from.
Yes, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if it's your first time hopping on.
If you're on the replay later, let us know you're on the replay. We'd love to check back in with you guys.
All right. Hey guys, I see Anita, Julie, Sheila.
We are going to drop some truth bombs tonight, for sure.
We've been talking all week about this. We literally have been talking all week about this.
Yeah. And this post new moon energy, I was telling Shakti, I was like, I feel like
fire
and like I'm like flying. I'm having almost like an out of body experience. I'm like, I just want to be yelling all the time. So if I'm like really loud tonight, I'm just really passionate. But it will probably come across as me yelling at you.
Leo as fuck right now is what this video should be called. Because it is Leo season, and let me tell you, the roar is legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
It is legitimate.
Hey,
and I think too, have come to a place of a lot of like, we've been doing a lot of meditation, a lot of different styles of meditation that we haven't necessarily done before, a lot of which are extremely deep and transformative. I think I can speak for both of us when I say that. Not that meditation in general isn't, but there's something we've been reading and listening to books by Dr. Joe Dispenza, who specializes in epigenetics and the quantum realm. And if you are not familiar with his work, you absolutely should be. He's phenomenal and totally groundbreaking when it comes to the bridge between the spiritual and the scientific world. And it's really been one of the most profound things I've ever read, let alone experienced or done. And he has meditations that he offers as well that we've been doing. And let me tell you, they have awakened us to a whole new level of understanding of what it takes to show up in the world and do the work. Really do the work. Not just say that you're doing it, not just talk about it, but to actually do it. So there's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah, because if you say you're doing the work, but nothing is changing in your life, you're not doing the work. You're not doing the work.
Yep.
Like, there's no way to do the work and have things not change in your life. You're not doing the work.
Amen. So let's talk about a little bit of how this topic came up. We called it spiritual bypassing, and if you don't have any idea what the hell that even means, basically it is the concept that we use our understanding of spirituality, or we sort of shield ourselves from our reality, from making ourselves responsible for our reality. So we avoid taking a really deep look at what's holding us back in the world and holding us back from being exemplary for ourselves in sake of, or in name of, things like self-love or self-care. Or and where I talk about this a lot, being really in the fitness world and being a fitness coach, is my biggest thing with the body positive movement, which, let me just first and foremost say that obviously we need to love ourselves no matter what. But my biggest thing is that if you are living a life where you are physically uncomfortable 80% of the time, and you are relying on medications and machinery so you can sleep at night and exist, that is a cry for help. That is not okay to sit on and say, I'm just going to love myself the way I am and not do anything about my condition. That's not loving yourself. That's enabling yourself. Loving yourself is saying, this is fucked up. I need to do something about it because I can no longer exist in the world without being dependent on machinery, medication, and random shit. That's self-loving. And there's a very fine line between enabling and loving, and this is kind of where this conversation is going to go, which is why the trigger factor is going to be high. Because we're about to call, like, no on a lot of things that people do, especially in the spiritual communities. We're heavy into spiritual communities, both of us. We're into the metaphysical. We cards, crystals, cats, the whole everything, that rituals, new moon, full moon. That's us, okay? That's our world. But there are far too many people in that world that are not looking at their shit. And this is problematic when it comes to teaching about shit. It's an integrity issue, right? So, and go ahead. I know you're like bubbling up. You just want to scream. I'm gonna hand over.
No, you did a really good job of introducing that, because, like Shakti said, we've been talking about this for about a week, and I was a guest on a podcast almost a week ago on Lionsgate, actually, so last Wednesday. And when I was having this conversation with the host of the podcast, and she was asking me, like, halfway through, she already knew what I do, but we were talking about self-love, self-care, conscious parenting, all the things I talk about. And she said, she was like, I kind of have this like reaction when I hear self-love and self-care, because it's the self-love, self-care movement has kind of been taken over by a lot of, I'm like, I don't even know exactly.
Enabling. Weak ass enabling. I'm going to call it what it is.
A bunch of bitches.
Weak ass, punk ass enabling. That's what's happened to self-love, self-care.
Self-love and self-care has been taken over by the people who are like, well, I get a pedicure, so that's self-love and self-care. I get a massage.
Right.
I take a bubble bath. All important things. There's nothing wrong with a pedicure and manicure. There's nothing wrong with a massage. Get a massage. I highly encourage that. But you can't do that type of shit and not do the inner work and expect anything in your life to change. And I hear this all the fucking time when I have conversations with people, and they're like, I'm miserable in my life. My life is really fucking chaotic. My relationship sucks. I hate my job. My kids are insane. I'm like, okay, cool. What are you doing to show up for yourself? And they're like, well, I take bubble baths. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not self-care. Okay. Like, that's not fucking doing anything. So I was having this conversation with the woman from the podcast, and what's funny is I said, you know, your reaction, like how you feel about self-love and self-care and like the way that it triggers you in that way is the very same way that people get triggered by the word God, right? People think that God is something based on how it's been portrayed in religion. And so, but like that's not actually what God is, right? Just like that's not actually what self-love and self-care are. Um, and so when I started to really after the podcast reflect on that and realize like, wow, I'm actually probably uh, turning people away with my message around self-love and self-care because either they want to take care of themselves, but they're like, well, that's not what I need. I don't need self-love. I don't need self-care. It's like too weak of a message for them, right? Or they're like, oh, I'm already doing that. I took a bubble bath last night. I got a pedicure today. I got a pedicure today. You know, and I realized like
my anger is eating my liver, but I got a pedicure. So
and so I realized I was like, I mean, okay, yeah, self-love and self-care is what I teach, but what I really care about is how fucking confident you are. If you don't feel confident as fuck, you're not doing the work. You're not doing the work because if you're doing the work and you are deeply connecting to yourself on a daily basis, then you feel confident 100%.
yeah, so let's go there. Because my response when we had this conversation on Voxer was, and this is gonna be not liked by a lot of people, but I'm listening to a lot of Grant Cardone right now, so if you know who he is, you know what's about to fly out of my mouth. So just let me put that into perspective. I kind of feel like I'm the wedding singer when he was like, I wrote this song, I was listening to The Cure a lot, so you know what's like gonna come after that. So this is my preface. I'm listening to a lot of Grant Cardone, so you know what's gonna come out of my mouth. I feel like in the spiritual community, there is a lot of sissiness going on when it comes to doing the deep work. There's a lot of talking about love and light and a lot about like, you know, I do my affirmations and I do, but like nobody wants to actually sit for 20 to 40 fucking minutes, go into the silence and shift what needs to be shifted. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do the meditation deep work because that shit is uncomfortable and it makes you cry when you start, by the way, in case you haven't started yet. This is going to happen.
Warning.
Until you're done crying, then you get beyond that, right? The first half of that is going to be all crying, so don't be surprised. I can't do it because I'm distracted. What the fuck do you think meditation is for? It's for distraction. That's why you have to sit down, because when you first do it, you're going to be distracted. That's normal. That's not a reason not to do it. Sit down and do the dang meditation. Or, you know, well, I do a walking guided meditation. No, it's not the same. It's not the same. Your conscious mind is awake. Your eyes are open. Don't try and bypass the work. This has driven me crazy in these communities. People trying to make everything okay and everything the same, and everything is not okay and everything is not the same. Okay, you saying body positivity, gotta love all the bodies. Yeah, we gotta love ourselves, but loving yourself sometimes means doing shit that's uncomfortable for you. Loving yourself sometimes means doing things that's hard for you, like doing the damn workout and doing portion control eating because you don't know how to damn eat because you're emotionally eating your feelings. That shit is hard and you got to deal with it. That's self-loving. Self-loving when you're dealing with an addict in your family, hello, me, is not enabling them and letting them go off the hook. No, it's putting them in the care that they need. It's addressing the issue when it comes up. That's self-loving. It's not loving to be like, well, I'm just going to give you alcohol because you're a fucking addict. Like, this is the same type of conversation. It's two different realms, but it's the same shit. It's the same shit. And when someone comes to me and says, my nutrition is not a priority, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I literally, in my head, I'm like, how the fuck is that not a priority? How? Well, yeah. Because I love myself the way I am. And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you fucking crazy? Like, your nutrition is not a priority because you love yourself? That's like me saying to you, I don't eat Oreos because Mars. The fuck does that even mean? Those two things don't go together. What is happening?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I also see, and I know some of you guys work with me, whether it's one-on-one or in my virtual classroom, but I got to call this shit out. I have to call this shit out, right? Like, this podcast is being open and honest and real. Some of you guys get stuck because you're like, I just want to celebrate my progress and not move beyond that. You can celebrate your progress and still want more. It's just like, yes. And I think Jensen Cheryl talks about this in her book, You Are a Badass. I just went to church yesterday, and the service all month is based on this book. You can be grateful for what you have and still want more. There's nothing fucking wrong with that. You can have gratitude and appreciation for yourself. You can have gratitude and appreciation for your life. You can have gratitude and appreciation for your journey and still want more. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not doing the work.
100%. We just took you to church. You didn't have to go anywhere. It's not even Sunday. It's Monday. Monday church. We'll find you here.
Monday mass.
It's like, you know, I really, really struggle with this whole, like, contentment. And, you know, Lauren is a friend of ours, talks about this all the time. People are like, well, aren't I supposed to be grateful for where I am? Like, appreciate, you know, yeah, you should be grateful for where you are, and you should be grateful for what you've accomplished. And if you're not striving for something, you guys, you're dying. I mean, that's just like us. That's how we were designed. You were designed to aim, strive, attain, and continue. When we are not on the hunt, so to speak, we're not satisfied inside. That's why so many people are like drug addicts, y'all. They're literally like lost, addicted to pain pills. I'm not talking about cracked out people on the street. I'm talking about your neighbor who's popping opioids like it's fucking M&Ms. Okay? Why? Why is that happening? Why is it a damn epidemic? Because we're not fulfilled. We're not seeking to do the internal work. We're not aiming. We're not reaching for things. And so we die inside. That is normal. We were created to seek, to attain, to want more for ourselves, to want abundance. Yes, Tanya just gave the perfect word. We were created for that. And having something like a really nice life and a great family and great kids and a great partner is not enough. That is not enough to satisfy you. And that is why people are shocked when people commit suicide. Why are you shocked? Why are you shocked? Because all of these physical things looked pleasant from the outside in. Like, well, they had all these things, they should be fine. Had all this money, had all this fame, had this family, had blah, 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 blah. No, inside something happened. Something happened where they were no longer seeking, reaching, feeling that fulfillment, which is so organic to us as beings. And so they just called it quits. They were just like, fuck this. There's no satisfaction. There's no satisfaction here. And so we're done. You know, and this is going to tiptoe on this whole conversation of mental illness and disease. And this is where it gets even saucier. This conversation gets even saucier because, again, there's a really huge population of people that want to make their mental illness the reason why they can't do anything. They really are super attached to, like, I have mental illness, so therefore I can't move beyond that. I can't be a contributing person to society. I can't, you know, like, absolutely not. And that is another form of bypassing, is you making your whole identity mental illness. And there's a fine line between you being like, I'm proactive about this and I'm an advocate for this and I'm talking about it and I'm, you know, making it normalized, of course, but this whole dependency on the identity and making it like the basis for why you can't do certain things, that whole thing has to be pulled apart.
So I love that we're going here because this has been a lot of what I've been talking about. I say this week, it's Monday, but you know what I mean, within the past week. I've been talking a lot about my own journey, talking about the journey of people who I work with. And I shared a video yesterday from Rachel Hollis, right? author of Girl Wash Your Face, which I haven't read yet, but I've heard amazing things about it, and I listened to her podcast, and I watched some of her videos, so I know who she is. And she shared this video, which I then shared, in regards to anxiety and depression, right? And the fact that she continues to rub up against anxiety, but she knows that one way that she's been able to combat anxiety is through meditation, is through nourishing her body, is through working out. This is not a secret, guys. Like, all successful people, if you look at what they do, they work out, they nourish themselves, they meditate. Like, all fucking successful people do that. All of them, every single one. And so I shared this, and I shared that my experience is that I do have experience with clinical depression. I do have experience with anxiety. And I also have kept them both at bay. Not to say I don't rub up against anxiety, that I don't rub up against depression, right? I can get into a funk real fast. But I'm able to keep them at bay, not on medication, by how I show up for myself, by nourishing myself, by doing the inner work, by meditating, and like really fucking meditating. And there was a comment on my post yesterday about how this woman was tired of medication shaming. First of all, I never said anything about the shame of medication, that medication isn't useful. This is something that Shakti and I have talked about multiple times on this podcast. However, where I really got baffled was if someone is saying to you, hey, by the way, you are so powerful that you are literally able to change anything in your life, how does that not fucking excite you? Like, how does that not excite you to realize that you are so powerful that A, you're able to do anything, B, you can live the healthiest of healthy lives, and C, you can do it without the expense or burden of medication, right? And then today I shared about, because we talked about Joe Dispenza. We've been reading his books, listening to his meditations, listening to him on YouTube. This is a man who got hit by a car in a triathlon back in the 80s.
A Bronco.
He
got run over by a Bronco.
like hit, right? Yeah. He reconstructed his spine through thought alone. And here's what I really want you to hear. Like, so often we're like, yeah, people say, yeah, but. No, yeah, buts. The truth is that if it's possible for one person, it's possible for all. If he was able to reconstruct his spine through thought alone and has taught this to other people, he's not the only one, but even if he was the only one, it's still possible for anyone. And the fact that you guys are so stuck to your limitations, it's bullshit. It has to stop. Like, it has to stop.
And I understand why we do that. It's scary to take responsibility for your life. That's really fucking scary. It's scary to say there is literally nothing in this world that can limit my expression, only myself. That's a scary thing to say, because all of a sudden everything is on you, and you now have to make choices and decisions for your life that are really intense. So I get why we get really comfortable with our limitations and we say, well, I have this, so like, this is just how I'm going to live my life. And I mean, I don't go too far. I was born with a condition that is literally a handicap. It's considered a medical disability. I was born with it. Nothing happened to me. I came into the world with this thing. And I had surgery at 3 days of age, and I somehow didn't die, when at the time that's how it went. People died during that surgery. It was very new. It was very rare. And I was told you'll never be able to have natural childbirth. You're never going to be able to exercise. You won't be able to play sports. All the shit I wanted to do. Literally all the shit I wanted to do. Don't get tattoos. Don't get piercings. You're going to get blood infections. Blah, blah. Go into the hospital every 6 months. Do all this lab work. Do all this stuff. And I had to choose not to identify as the girl that was sick my entire life. Do you know how hard it is to choose not to identify as that when you're literally sitting in a cardiac practice every 6 months, sometimes every 3 months? When I was a baby, I was in there every 3 months, and then it became every 6 months, and then it became every year, and then now it's 2 to 3 years. But when you're in there that often, and you have to make a choice not to identify as sick, when everything around you is telling you the opposite, that's intense. And to date, I am one of the only people who have had that surgery who've never had a recurring surgery, who's never needed assistance. They don't understand why. They literally consider me a medical miracle, and they have me filed at University of Miami, as like an outlier. And the last time I went to go get an exam, and they looked at my heart, and they're like, this is impossible. Your echo is showing me that you have the heart capability of an athlete. I don't understand how someone with your condition has that. He asked me what I did, and I told him I meditated, and he laughed. He literally laughed at me. Because this is the problem with science. It is blind. It is not willing to look at what science really is, which is looking at all possibilities and really exploring to find answers. We've gotten so nearsighted with this allopathic approach to wellness that we are missing the miracles that are happening like right here, right in front of our faces. And so what I appreciate so much about Joe Dispenza is that he's being like, absolutely not. It's not a this or that, it's this. And we need to understand where they meet and how they fuse, because they are affecting each other, and it is powerful and it is deep. And to note that this man, from his accident, he didn't just get hit by a Bronco. He pretty much completely severed his spine, his lower spine, his lumbar spine, which meant that he would never walk again, even with his surgery, which was an exploratory surgery. They weren't sure how it was going to turn out. All he could do for months was lay down. He really couldn't do anything, couldn't move most of his body. And so he did the only thing he could do, which was meditate. That's it. That's all he could do. And it took him a really long time to complete the meditation and see his spine is healed. It took him an exceptionally long time to have the kind of focus and concentration required to actually complete that meditation. He would get distracted, just like we all get distracted. He'd have to start all over again, and he'd have to start all over again until he finally was able to complete it. And in that time where all he could do was lay down, that's how he used his time. So when you come to me and you tell me, I've had clients tell me, I've had even coaches, my coaches I work with tell me, or prospects, I'm just so weak, I don't have energy, I can't do anything. I'm like, yeah, you can. There's one thing you can do, whether all you can do is lay down, is you can meditate. You can take control of your mind today, right now. It's not going to cost you a cent. But you have to be willing to do the work. And if you're not even willing to do that, listen, I give free advice all the time. If you hop in my inbox and you have a problem, just happened to me today. A young girl reached out to me at dire straits. And I spent almost an hour in completion talking to her, giving her things to do that didn't even cost her a cent. Okay? Yes, I am a fitness coach and I have products and I want to help you with all that. But that's not why I'm here. Otherwise, I wouldn't have fucking cared what she needed in that moment. Okay? And I told her, you need to make a pact with me that for the next 30 days, you're going to do what I tell you to do. And if you do what I tell you to do, you'll be in a different place in 30 days. And that's it, you guys. There's no excuse in the book for why you can't do the inner work. It doesn't cost you a dime. It requires your commitment. And this is what Ann and I are pointing out, is that far too many of us, especially in the spiritual community, are okay being okay. And we complain about our limitations, and we fight for our limitations, and we fight for our medication, and we fight for our illnesses, and we fight, and we don't get excited about being able to break free of that. We're addicted to our identity around being ill, and we're terrified of taking radical responsibility for what we could do with ourselves if we didn't have that addiction to that identity. And this epidemic needs to come to a halt, because we are literally holding back the collective by doing this. We are all, as powerful creators as we are, as powerful light workers that we are holding back the collective from breaking through and healing, because we are not willing to do that for ourselves. And it's affecting everything. Everything.
Yep. And I would say a lot of people in the spiritual community are completely out of integrity. Completely out of integrity. Because being in integrity 100%. Means that what you teach is what you implement in your life. And I know that There are spiritual teachers out there who teach one way and live their life completely differently. Shakti and I aren't like that. When we show up and teach you guys this
Yep.
shit, we're living this shit. We're living this shit, right? And so we just see it day in and day out. Day in and day out, where people are talking about one thing and then doing something else. They'll be teaching love and light and they'll be judging someone else all the fucking time, you know? And it's just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And you know, Ann and I, we hold each other really fucking accountable. I mean, behind the scenes, we come to each other like, hey, I want to judge the shit out of this, or I want to, you know, I want to freak out about this, or I want to like help me not do that. Like, where's my work? And we do this for each other all the time. And to me, that's like, God, that's true love, you guys. Like, that's real love. When you got someone in your life who's willing to look at you and say, you can do better than this. You can do better than this. You are better than this. Let me show you how you're better than this. And if I can distill anything that Ann and I do, whether it's like individually or in our team with our fitness clients, that's what we do. That's like the basis of what we do. Is we look at people who come to us and we're like, you can do better than this. I know that you can do better than this because I did better than this. I know that you can climb higher because I climbed higher. Because Ann and I have done the fucking ropes. We've done the ropes, the stairs, gym class, everything.
Monkey bars, all the shit.
The monkey bars, the burpees, all the suffering, the stinging, the uncomfortable shit, the shit we wanted to run from, we've done it. So when we look at you and we say, you can do this, we're not just saying that because it sounds fucking nice. We're saying that because we know that you can do this. Because we did it. We already did it. So we know that it's possible for you. Just know that. Like, this is the level of love. And this is real love. This is not enabling. This is love. Love is telling you got to do some hard shit that you don't want to do. Love is telling you that you're running from shit that you don't need to run from. Love is telling you that you can't eat that all the fucking time because your body hates it. Probably don't do that. Right? Like, that is love. That is love.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing a book club in my virtual classroom right now. We're reading Women, Food, and God, and it's a really interesting book, FYI, and it's talking about anytime you eat something when you are not hungry, doesn't matter if it's carrots, doesn't matter if it's kale, doesn't matter if it's chocolate chips, doesn't matter what it is. Anytime you eat something when you are not hungry, you are using food to feel something. You're using it in an addictive form, right? You are using food to feel a connection that you are missing with God, with your higher self, spirit, source, universe. I don't care what you call it. It's the same thing. So anytime you are eating and you are not hungry, you are missing a connection to yourself. And we talked about this in the last podcast. I was talking about a church service I went to, and the minister was talking about, being full of love, being halfway full of love, and being in crisis mode, right? So going back to the spiritual community and coaches being completely out of integrity, there are a lot of coaches out there who are judging others, right? And anytime you're in judgment, you are in crisis mode. Anytime you're in crisis mode, you're not full of love. So you can preach love and light all you want, but if you don't feel it, then like, what the fuck are you doing? Get offline and go meditate. Go work out. Go eat some kale. Like, nourish yourself. Nourish your...
Go eat kale. Kale, go for you. Go for your soul. But I mean, this out of integrity thing, this is the issue with so many things, and religion is a perfect example of this. The reason so many people have shit with religion is not because of the concept of God. It's not because of the teachings. It's because the lack of integrity. It's because you're preaching love thy neighbor and blah, blah, blah. The highest of these is love. And then you turn around and you fucking smack talk your gay neighbor, your gay coworker, because of some shit that you misinterpreted that wasn't even meant like that anyway in the Bible, by the way. You didn't know that, now you know. Nowhere in the Bible is this shit talked about. FYI. I've read the fucking thing. Yes, me. I read it. So when you live a life that's so fucking compartmentalized like that, where on one end you preach all this shit, like you're at Sunday, every Sunday you're at church with fucking shiny shoes on and hats with shit coming out of them, and then you go out into the world and you fucking hate people, something is fucking wrong. There is a disconnect in your brain. You need to have a come to Jesus moment outside of church. Okay? Like, I'm just gonna, because this shit gets me. I'm sweating. I'm so bothered. I'm sweating. Okay? And I see it too often, and it drives me nuts. And my grandmother's a really perfect example of this. Love my grandmother. She's been a really influential force in my life, but she is the quintessential, I'm a Catholic, I go to church on Sunday, and then the rest of the week I'm gonna fucking hate everyone. And I'm like, what's happening right now? Like, what is even going on? And we see it all the time with anything, whether it's a coach judging other people or, you know, someone who wants to serve when it comes to like health and fitness, for example, in our industry, but then isn't really looking at their emotional eating, isn't really looking at their stuff, isn't really healing through anything. Like, that's an out of integrity thing. Like, anywhere where that's happening and you're just kind of bypassing and not like, that's not cool. That is not cool. Like, live the word if you're gonna live the word. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, be it. Don't just talk about it. Be it. Be it. And be real about it. Doesn't mean that you're always perfect. Doesn't mean that you don't. It means that you're honest about your shortcomings. It means that you share your process. It means that you talk about, because that's being human. Being human is having shortcomings. Being human is processing. We forgot why we came here. Okay, so like the human brain has no fucking idea what we're doing here. We're like all of us are running around distracted, forgetting that we had a roadmap that we built like before we got here. Like, shocked when things happen, like we didn't know they were gonna happen. You know, like that's our life down here, and it's okay. It's okay that happened and you forgot, and you know, you judge people and you fall off. That's perfectly normal and fine, but work through it. You know, if you came here to be love and light, work through it. Don't just talk about it. Work through it. Heal it. Find an accountability partner. Talk it out. Journal. Meditate. We've said the word meditate 50,000 times in this video. I hope to God if you walk away with nothing besides a giant trigger in your brain, you walk away with the word meditation. So important.
Okay, yes. Okay, so Kate says she emotionally ate today. Know exactly what I was doing. So here's the thing. If you're watching us,
girl.
If you're watching us, then you have the awareness. Like, you're not watching us if you don't know what the fuck we're talking about, because you would not be watching 40 minutes in. You would have like turned this shit off like 39 minutes ago. You'd been like, nah, bitch, this is not for me. Crazy bitches. But I want to go back to this topic of, why the fuck are you okay with living a mediocre life? Because honestly, I feel like that is the biggest form of spiritual bypassing in your own life, is that you are okay with living a mediocre life. And one thing that I talk to a lot of clients about when I work with them one-on-one is, typically when I start off with my clients, besides the whole self-care routine, which is like, you know, the beginning, I'll ask them like, so, you know, we'll talk about your job and all kinds of shit. And every single time I hear, oh no, my job is good. I love my job and this is good and that's good. And I always ask, would you do it for free? No. Fuck no, I wouldn't do it for free. Like,
no. Like, I wouldn't.
And here's the thing. If you wouldn't do it for free, this is very different than needing to do it for free. I want you to hear that very clear. I'm not saying you should do it for free. Fuck knows, I don't do this shit for free. You know, I offer free value, but I don't work for free. If you wouldn't do it for free, then what you're saying is, I'm okay with living a mediocre life. This is the best I can get. Yeah. And so often I talk to you and I see you guys, I have conversations with you. I talk to you and you're like, well, I kind of want to do that thing you're doing, but shit, I'm afraid of failure. You guys, can we just fucking put failure to bed? Like, failure doesn't exist. It's an illusion. It's as long as you are taking your failure and learning from it, you're not failing. And so often people are like, well, I failed. No, you didn't. You fucking quit. Quitting and failing are not the same. You didn't fail. You quit. So if you don't want to fail, then like do the thing.
Don't quit.
Do the thing. Don't quit, first of all, right? If you don't want to fail, don't quit. It's that simple. But if you don't want to fail, then like show up and do the things that bring you joy.
Do it.
Like follow the things. Yeah. If there's that feeling in your stomach where you're like, oh, I kind of want to do that thing, but I'm also kind of terrified, that means you're on the right path. If you want to do it and you're terrified, congratulations, you're following your calling.
Yeah, it always feels like that, like shit initially. And then you're like, oh, this is
like, what the fuck did I do?
And I mean, we see it with fitness and we see it with the business, whether we're talking, people always come at us with things like, oh, my schedule is so busy. And I'm like, that's made up. Give me your schedule right now. I always said, give me your schedule. I'll find the time for you. Mm-hmm. I'll find the time for a 30-minute workout. I'll find the time for business hours.
Okay, hold on. That is such a motherly response. Do you want to find the time or do you want me to find it for you? Like mother and teacher.
Can you tell
mother and teacher, like that's it. You want to find are you gonna do it or am I gonna
Can you tell I have a toddler? Are you gonna brush your teeth or I'm gonna brush your teeth? You gonna pick, you're gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. That's how I feel. When the client comes to me or someone, I don't have the time. Give me a schedule. You want to find time? I don't find time. Give me a schedule. I'm gonna highlight it for you. I'm gonna color code it for you. I'm gonna send it back. Set up. That's not true. That's not true. The only thing that's true is you're scared. That's it. That's what it is. You're scared, which is fine. It's normal. But process that. Don't stay scared. Don't have us talk to you a year later and you're still fucking scared and saying the same thing. I don't have time. In a year, girl, you didn't find time. In 1 year, nothing changed. In 1 year, you didn't find $100. Come on, girl. Come on. I know you lying. I know you lying. We know the game. You're scared. So work through that. Don't just stay there, and don't just stay there to work with us. But it's holding you back everywhere. It's holding you back everywhere. The same stories you tell us, you tell to yourself about everything, and it's holding you back. So don't stay there.
Yes.
That's the biggest lie.
Spoiler alert, your pattern doesn't just show up in one area of your life. You have a pattern, and it shows up everywhere. I was just working on this with the client today, and I was like, hey, by the way, you have a pattern. It's showing up everywhere in your life. Your pattern is that you're addicted to your story, and you keep telling yourself you can't. Like, no matter what area of your life, you're letting time control your life. You're letting money control your life. Like, I can't tell you how many of you show up and say, I don't know where the day went. Why are you letting your day control you? Do you know that you have the power? You can wake up in the morning and you can decide how your day goes. Fucking magical.
It's amazing. And Bernadette just called me out super hard on this. How long did it take you to start getting personal training? Yes, because this bitch was living in that place. Like, I don't know if I'm good enough. Like, and it was totally bypassing one of my greatest gifts, which is being a really incredible reader and being really fucking intuitive. And Bernadette is my mentor, and she's phenomenal, by the way. If you need someone who's a psychic medium and is thebomb.com, go see Bernadette Cart King. She is the best, period. There's a plug-in for you. You're welcome. But also, yeah, it took me a long time because I was living in that space, and Bernadette told me 100 times, she's like, girl, you're playing so small. All the time. That was always our message. Like, you were playing so small. You were hiding from yourself. And I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I basically, you know why we know all the excuses you're giving are excuses? Because we gave them to ourselves. Mm-hmm. That's why we know. That's why we know. Because we did that. We did that to ourselves for a long time. And so we get it. What we're asking you is to not keep doing it. Like, if you know you're doing it, and if we tell you you're doing it, and if we see you doing it, like, do something about it. Don't hold yourself back like that, because that's a massive disservice. A massive disservice.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Bernadette, I'll just piggyback off of what you said. Shakti really didn't fully step into her power until the beginning of 2018, until she was finally was like, okay, you know. So yeah, we teach this because we know it, and I will say that one of the biggest reasons behind having a community of support is because you can compare yourself in the best way possible. Because let me tell you, I'm competitive as fuck. And when I see Shakti set big goals, and I see Shakti showing up for her life, and I see Shakti confident as fuck, I'm like, that bitch is not going to surpass me. Fuck that shit. And I'm like, I'm in, bitch. I'm in. I'm ready to live my life. Let's do this together. And then she's like, I want to be the top in everything. I want to be the best in everything. And I'm like, get ready, because here I come.
Yeah.
You know? But like, if we didn't have each other, and if we didn't have the community, we have our own mastermind. We have our own group, another good friend of ours. So it's the three of us, and every day we're checking in there, and we're constantly like pushing each other and keeping each other on track. And when it feels low vibe, like I called them out, what was it, a couple weeks ago, and I was like, okay guys, so like it's been feeling pretty low vibe in here. We need to step up our game. This is not why we created the mastermind. And we all stepped up our game.
Yep.
But if we were separate, doing our own thing, do you think I would be calling myself out? Probably not. You know? And so like that's why having community and support and mentorship and guidance is so important, because it's uncomfortable enough that like you're not going to do it on your own. People just don't.
Yep.
People just don't do it on their own. Like we've all had guidance and mentorship.
That's why the fuck coaches exist. Otherwise, people would just be walking around like, got it, I'm good. The reason coaches are here is because we all forgot our soul contracts, and we literally forgot we designed our lives. So we're just like here running around like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I didn't choose to be here, blah, blah, blah. Like believing that story. We forgot. And so then there's other people who have a certain level of wisdom and who have walked certain paths of lives who come into your life and are like, no, by the way, hello, here, this is what you're avoiding. This is what's not happening. This is what you need to be doing. And then you're like, oh shit, yes, thank you so much for that information. Now I can move. That's basically what we do. Like, that's the point.
When I talk to clients, it's really funny because I always hear like, oh yeah, I knew that. I'm like, of course you knew that. I'm not teaching you anything you don't know. Like we're not inventing the wheel here, right? Like we're not teaching you anything you don't know. The reason coaches like us have jobs is because it's not that you don't know what to do, it's that you're not fucking doing it. Our job is to hold you accountable to the things that you say you want. Like if you say you want a badass life, we're going to hold you accountable to that. If you say you want to work out and like really work on your physical health, we're going to hold you accountable to that. If you say you want to make a shit ton of money, we're going to hold you accountable to that. Like we're going to hold you accountable because we know that what happens is that when you start doing the work, you hit an upper limit. You hit the edge of your comfort zone. And if it's just you, you're going to be like, I don't really need that money. I don't really want that relationship. Oh, I don't really want my health. You know, like I'll just go eat a cookie instead. That's not what you said you wanted. That's not what you said you wanted. So like, do you want to eat the cookie or do you want to actually achieve your goals? It's not that you can't eat the cookie, but you probably shouldn't eat 5 cookies every single night.
Yeah, probably knows my health. But also, like, we can't do this work for you either. So, like, I was having a conversation with someone who's like, I was inviting her to join our workout warrior community, and she was like, I can't do that because I just know myself. I won't do it unless someone's like right in my face telling me what to do. And I'm like, that's like a whole other level, right? Because here's the other thing that happens. It's like you'll hire us to start working with us, and then you fucking disappear. And then you're like, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to hide. I'm like, then why? Then why say you want to do the work? You know what I mean? Like, don't do that either. Like, that's another form of bypassing. Like, you just, like, Everyone needs a coach or 5. Yeah. Yes, Tanya. She's been kicking her ass every single morning. In the best way, loving possible, and she just loves me now because she's a perfect example of someone who's showing up and doing the work, and her life is changing like that radically within 2 weeks of us working together.
Yes.
Radical change.
Yes. Every single person.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? So if you go, those of you who aren't my Facebook friends, but those of you who are as well, if you start scrolling through my posts, you will see I've been very vocal lately, and I've been triggering a lot of people lately. However, here's what's funny. The people who aren't doing the work are the ones who are fucking triggered and hate me right now.
Yes.
The people who are showing up and doing the work are like, thank you, changed my life. And I'm like, I know. But here's the thing. My truth triggers the people who don't want to do the fucking work. So if you're triggered by our message, you're not doing the work. In some area of your life, you are slacking. Because if you're showing up to do the work, you're like, yep, changed my life. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it's like art, right? Art is intended to make you feel something. That's the whole point of creating art, that you experience it and you feel something. That's the whole point of this podcast. And that's the whole point of our messages on social media. When you read it, you feel something. That's the whole freaking point. And when we trigger you and when we say something you're like, oh, it stings, that's for you to look at. That's for you to look at. Because what I can tell you, I mean, Tanya's a perfect fucking example. Someone who had so many years of stuff to work through, in 2 weeks, transformed. The way she spoke was different. The way she showed up for herself was different. Why? Because she didn't try to run. She told me, tell me what to do and I will do it. I have several clients who are like that. Just tell me what to do and I will do it. And let me tell you, without fail, they do it and they change instantly. It's one of the most powerful things I've ever witnessed. The ones who are like, I don't know why this isn't working. I know you're not doing it. I know you're not doing it. That's just, I know. Because it is literally impossible for you to do what I give you, the routine I give you, the format I give you, and you not come out of it renewed. And you not have like light bulbs go off in your head. And you not, it's impossible. So anybody who's sitting here watching me like, I tried everything, nothing works. There you have it. There you have it. We know you have it.
Yep.
It does work.
Yep. It works when you work it. And this is one way. Shakti and I, we do a lot of the same work with our clients. Our levels are slightly different in the fact that I work with a lot of people. We both work with people at the beginning of their journeys. I work with a lot of stubborn bitches, you guys. You guys know who you are. Like, I hear all the time, like, I don't know if it'll work because I'm stubborn. I'm like, welcome to all my clients. All my clients are stubborn as fuck and they try to run. And I am that coach. I am that coach that will fucking hunt you down. I will hunt your ass down if you don't show up. So I have people in the virtual classroom, and I also offer what are called cut the shit texts, which is basically, I hold you accountable in the classroom, but if you are still not doing the work, then you can sign up for additional support, which is me texting you every single day, holding you accountable for everything that you say you want. And I have one person who signed up for it recently who has now shown up for herself 2 weeks in a row, which is the longest she has ever done it in her. I've been working with her for 2 years. This is the first time in her entire life that she has shown up 2 weeks in a row and her life is changing. So I always tell people, right, like, you can say you want to do the work and still slip away, but if you really want to do the work, I will hold your ass accountable if that's really what you want.
I'm the kind of coach who is like, I'm not going to hold your hand. This is the levels that Anne was talking about.
I was a kindergarten teacher, so like...
I'm an adult. I've taught adult classes, adult workshops, adult seminars, adult lectures. I'm an adult teacher. If you tell me you want something, I'm going to take your word for it. I will give you all I've got. Every tool. Ask my clients who are on this video right now if I answer their messages always first. They are always first. My clients and my coaches, I am 100 with them. I am on my team page 100. I answer their messages 100. Everyone else is secondary. But my people are first. But if you tell me you want something and then you don't go get that, I'm not going to hold your hand to go get your goal because you're a grown person. Grown. You're grown. Now, if you come to me and you say, I'm not going for my goals, help me figure this out, I'll help you figure that out gladly. I'll help you figure that out. If you come to me and say, I'm slacking, I don't know what's going on, I'll help you figure that out. I'll help you put a plan into action. I'll set up a call with you. I got you. But you've got to own it. You got to own it. That's just my perspective. You're grown, so be grown. I got you, so you grown.
I'll potty train you guys.
Yeah, and I'm gonna potty train you, and then I'm gonna just blast you the fuck out into space. But but the truth remains that both of us, we give you guys everything.
Yeah.
Like, we give you guys everything, all the time. We don't hold back. That is the same with both of us. We are so generous and so focused and so nurturing. And there's not anything that we have been through that we're not willing to give to you 100% of the time. But you gotta do the work. Because even if Anne hunts you down and fucking finds you hiding in the toilet in your guest bathroom, unless you actually do the work, it'll just be Anne staring at you on the toilet.
Which is
because
awkward.
She can't give you.
Which is awkward.
Which is awkward because she can't give you the change. She can't give you the enlightenment. She can just stare at you sitting in your toilet. Really fucking awkward. Like, what are you gonna do now? You know? So regardless of whose tactic, it's you. You gotta do the work. We're gonna give you the same shit, different voices, whatever. And if you're in our fitness community, you hear from both of us because we're in there.
Or if you're in the team page, if you're in the meta movement, if you're
in our team, we share. So we're in there all the time talking to you guys, you know. So we coach the same. We got a power team, by the way. Our team is fucking
baller,
popping right now.
Baller. If you guys,
I'm so on.
And some of you guys are on the fence. I know you are. You're on the fence, like, and the only reason you're holding back is fear. That's it.
100. I've been listening and something is working, sharing my card tomorrow. Yay! Julie, she's one of our coaches. And she's this is another one who is doing the work. Here's another example of a human being who came to this team page like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to work on myself. What book do I need to read? What do I need to do? And her life has dramatically changed because she took ownership of that and ran with it. We barely knew each other when we started working together. Barely. But she said yes out of the gate. She's like, I want that, and I want to learn how to do it. And that's, to me, that is like life. You don't have to know how to do anything. You just have to know what you want. And if you tell us, I want that, that calls to me, we will give you everything. But you've got to know what you want, and you've got to be brave enough to say, I'm in. That's really it. That's really it. Don't avoid it. And if you need to work it through, write to us. Be like, girl, I'm scared. Help me process this. Girl, I'm having whatever. Help me work through it. That's what we do. That's why we're here, you know? So reach out and have a conversation. Don't bypass the feelings. Don't try to avoid it. Go through it. Let us help you do that. That's our job. That's what we do.
And too often, one of the biggest things we hear is that you guys are going to wait until things calm down before you start taking care of yourself. No.
The biggest lie there was.
No. Don't wait till things calm down before you start taking care of yourself. Things haven't calmed down and feel like shit because you're not taking care of yourself. When you start taking care of yourself, that's when things will feel, and things won't actually be less chaotic. They just feel manageable and less chaotic. But I hear this all the time. Let me get my shit in line, and then I'll show up for myself. No, you have it backwards. That's wrong. I'm just going to call you out. That is wrong.
Wrong.
Wrong answer.
Wrong order. That's wrong order. That's like wiping your butt before you poop. What are you doing? Like, before I take a poop, I have to clean my butt, make sure it's really clean, and then I'll be able to poop. No. You should definitely be wiping after you poop. P.S. In case you never figured the order of that out, that's how that works.
If you didn't get
It's the same
if
thing.
you didn't get anything from this podcast, I hope you walk away with that, knowing to wipe your ass after you poop. And I wanna address Tanya's comment, you know, and you have to feel good enough to teach others, right? Like Shakti and I are both prime examples of people who jumped into a business not knowing what the fuck we were doing and started sharing our story when we were unhappy. I worked my business and I shared my story through death in the family, through divorce, through moving, through my last partner being overseas the entire summer, me going through my dark night of the soul, through another breakup, like through another move, through being on the road. Like, out of anyone who has a chaotic life, I fucking live on the road, you guys. Like, nothing is consistent in my life. Nothing is consistent except how I show up for myself. And I've had people in our Workout Warrior community say, damn, Ann, you are so consistent. I don't know how you do that. You're so consistent. I'm like, because you know what? I would lose my goddamn mind if I didn't show up for myself. I would lose my fucking shit if I didn't show up for myself. So no, it's not that you have to wait for your life to calm down before you start showing up for yourself or before you start that business. No, the reason your life is chaotic is because you haven't started the business, because you haven't said yes to your life, because you haven't done the things that you say you want to do. And you know what? Your life isn't going to get less chaotic until you start showing up for the things that you want to do, because that chaos is the universe knocking, saying, hello, 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 is anyone there? Oh, no, not listening. Let me knock you on your ass. Congratulations, you ignored me. Like, that's exactly what that chaos is showing you, that you're not paying attention.
Yep. Straight up. Yeah, I was depressed as fuck when I started coaching. I was like, who the fuck is going to want to listen to me? My life sucks. All I do is cry all day. I have a 4-month-old. I don't remember shit from his birth to now. I hardly remember when I've changed his diapers because I'm so depressed. I'm in a fucking daze. Like, I was eating horribly, feeling horrible, feeling like a shitty mom. It was the worst. So what did I do? The only thing I could do was just talk about my process, talk about my story, talk about what I was doing to feel mildly better. And just shared that as often as I could. And you know what? I got better. I got stronger, I got wiser, and people saw that. And people saw me build courage and confidence from a woman who was fucking dead beat. I mean, I was a shadow of the person that I knew myself to be before, you know? And it transformed me, and it was powerful to be witnessed by my audience, to witness that transformation. And same as Anne, and they're like, how are you slaying life so hard? And you have a toddler, and like, you work a job, and you have a business, and then you manage your home. And I'm like, because of how I fucking take care of myself, I'm up at 5 a.m. like clockwork, and I've got to work out, and I've got to meditate, and I've got to read, I've got to take care of myself, because if I don't start my day that way, the whole day goes to shit. That everything happens, and everything gets out of my control, and everything will be different on a day-to-day, and the only thing that we can control is how we show up for ourselves. That is why I slay at life, day in and day out.
Yep.
That is why.
Yep.
Because I choose to.
Yep.
Didn't land in my lap. I made it. Happen.
Yeah. I'm so tired of people saying, I could never do what you do. Yes, you could. You're choosing not to. You're choosing not to.
That's it.
So you have a choice, and I know we're over time, but like, you have a choice. Do you want to show up for your life and show up fully, or do you want to pretend that you don't want certain things and live a mediocre life? Yeah. The choice is yours. However, if you choose the path of mediocrity, stop bitching about your life, stop telling people that you could never do it, and stop, like, what am I trying to say? Stop
arguing for limits.
Stop arguing for
your damn limits.
And stop, I'm like, all of a sudden, like, my energy is just like, and we're done. No, but you have to stop, like, judging other people for what they decided to do. Stop judging people for having a successful business. Stop judging people for living the life that you want to live. Stop judging people for having money. Stop judging people for having freedom. You could have it too. You just didn't make that choice yet. The choice is still open.
Always. Always begin again, friends. Always begin
Yep.
again. I hope that you feel on fire after this video. You might not be able to sleep because we did that to you. Sorry. But I hope that this awoke in you a desire to want to be better. That's what we hope for. We hope that when you listen to us and you see our posts and that you just want to be better, that you just want to be the best you can possibly be for you, for your family, for everyone in your life, for your purpose, to find that fulfillment, to feel that sense of satisfaction. We just want you to be your best. So if we can serve you, of course, we're enrolling right now for our fitness community, which starts September 1st. So you can contact either Anne or myself to get enrolled and join our fitness community, which is a 30-day group that we run every 30 days, has a new theme. We'll be announcing the new theme in the next couple weeks in the group. Or our team, if you've been thinking about the business and joining as a coach, again, we're on the same team. We enroll coaches all the time, so contact us to get enrolled. And otherwise, just contact us if you have questions or comments or you're processing something. Like, that's why we're here, and that's why we do this stuff every Monday.
That's it. All right, guys.
Oh, Carrie.
Thanks for hopping on tonight, and share this. If you feel like this would resonate with someone else, share it out, tag them below. And as always, we will chat with you guys next Monday. All right, have a good night.